Have you ever posted something online without thinking about the consequences, only to have it change your life forever? This is the story of a photographer whose viral images caught the attention of a man who had the power and the audacity to take whatever he wanted. What happened next would test everything she believed about freedom, choice, and destiny. Maya Chen wiped sweat from her forehead as she reviewed the photos on her camera. At 28, she traveled to over 40 countries as a travel photographer. But this trip to the Arabian desert had produced something special. The light, the landscape, the raw beauty, it was all breathtaking. She'd spent 3 days photographing the remote desert region, staying in a small tourist camp on the edge of protected tribal lands. Her final morning shoot had been magical. Sunrise over ancient ruins, shadows stretching across sand dunes that looked like liquid gold. Back in her tent, Maya uploaded her favorite shots to Instagram with a simple caption, "Lost in the magic of Arabia. Some places steal your breath and your heart. Sun Lo, furs." She posted it without thinking much about it, and went to pack for her flight home to California. By the time she reached the airport, her phone was exploding. The post had gone viral, 50,000 likes, then 100,000, then 500,000. Travel magazines were commenting, tourism boards were sharing, and her followers had jumped from 80,000 to 300,000 in hours. "Holy shit," Maya whispered, scrolling through the notifications. Major publications were reaching out for interviews. Tourism companies wanted to license her images. It was the breakthrough every travel photographer dreamed of. But buried in the thousands of comments was one that made her pause. It was written in Arabic, from an account with no profile picture and only one follower. Maya ran it through a translation app. "You have photographed what was forbidden. You have been seen." A chill ran down her spine despite the desert heat. She told herself it was just a troll, some keyboard warrior trying to scare tourists. She deleted the comment and boarded her flight. The next morning, Maya woke in her Los Angeles apartment to find her Instagram account had been hacked and deleted. Every photo, every follower, 5 years of work gone. When she tried to contact Instagram support, she found her email had also been compromised. Her phone had been remotely wiped. Someone with serious technical resources wanted her erased from the internet. And then came the knock on her door. Maya opened her door to find 2 men in dark suits standing in her hallway. They looked like federal agents, but something felt wrong. "Miss Chen, we need you to come with us," the taller one said in accented English. "Who are you? Do you have identification? There's been a security issue related to your recent travel. We need to ask you some questions. It's urgent." Maya's instincts screamed danger. "I'm calling the police." The man moved faster than she could react, pressing a cloth over her mouth and nose. The chemical smell was the last thing Maya registered before everything went black. She woke in darkness, her head pounding. She was lying on something soft, a bed or couch. The air smelled different, spices and incense. When she tried to move, she realized her hands weren't bound, but her body felt heavy, drugged. As her eyes adjusted, she made out her surroundings. She was in a luxurious tent, not a camping tent, but the kind of elaborate pavilion she'd seen in movies about Arabian royalty. Silk fabrics, ornate carpets, lanterns casting golden light. Through an opening, she could see stars, an endless desert. "You're awake." The voice came from the shadows, deep and commanding. A man stepped into the light. He was perhaps in his mid-30s, tall and powerfully built, with sharp features and eyes that seemed to see through her. He wore traditional white robes that somehow made him look both regal and dangerous. "Who are you? Where am I?" Maya's voice came out hoarse. "I am Sheikh Khalid al-Rashid, and you are in my territory, several hundred miles from any city. Your disappearance has been covered. Your neighbors believe you left on assignment. No one will look for you here." Maya's blood ran cold. "You kidnapped me. I retrieved you. There is a difference." "There's no difference. You drugged me and brought me here against my will." Khalid moved closer, and Maya instinctively backed away. He stopped, seeming to recognize her fear. "Miss Chen, you violated sacred lands. The ruins you photographed are on protected territory. The tribal council wanted you arrested, possibly worse. I intervened, by kidnapping me, by claiming you as my intended bride. It was the only way to prevent them from taking harsher action." Maya stared at him. "You're insane. I'm practical, and I'm your only protection right now." The images you posted showed landmarks that reveal the location of sites we've kept hidden for generations. Already, I've had to intercept 3 separate groups trying to find those ruins. Your viral moment has put my people at risk. So delete the photos. I don't even have access to my accounts anymore. Someone already wiped them. That was me. But the damage is done. Your images were shared thousands of times. They exist in places I cannot reach. Khalid's expression was hard. You will remain here as my guest, prisoner, until I determine what to do with you. In the meantime, you will be treated with respect and comfort. But understand this, you cannot leave. There is nowhere to go, and my people have orders to retrieve you if you try. The next morning, Maya woke to find breakfast laid out on low tables: dates, fresh bread, yogurt, mint tea. A woman in traditional dress stood nearby. I am Amira, the woman said in perfect English. I will assist you during your stay. If you need anything, you have only to ask. I need to go home. Amira's expression was sympathetic but firm. That is not possible yet, but I can show you the settlement, if you wish. You are free to move about, as long as you don't attempt to leave. With nothing else to do, Maya agreed. What she saw surprised her. The settlement was more sophisticated than she'd expected. Dozens of large tents arranged around a central oasis, with solar panels powering modern amenities. There were children playing, women working on various tasks, men tending to horses and equipment. It was like stepping into a world that existed between centuries, ancient traditions maintained with modern convenience, and everywhere she went, people looked at her with curiosity and whispered. She didn't need to speak Arabic to understand. She was the woman their sheikh had claimed as his bride. Over the following days, Maya learned the rhythm of the settlement. Khalid kept his distance, appearing only occasionally to check on her welfare. But Maya felt his presence constantly, in the way people treated her with deference, in the guards who casually positioned themselves wherever she walked, in the tent that was lavish enough to be a prison made of silk. On the 5th day, Khalid finally came to speak with her properly. He found her photographing the sunset. She'd been given back her camera, though without any way to connect to the internet. You cannot help yourself, he observed. Even here you must capture the light. Photography is who I am. You can trap my body, but you can't trap my eye. I'm not trying to trap you, Miss Chen. I'm trying to protect you, and my people. Maya lowered her camera. Then let me go. I won't post anything. I'll sign whatever agreements you want. It's not that simple anymore. Khalid sat on a nearby rock, looking out at the desert. The tribal council knows you're here. They know I've claimed you as my intended. If I release you now without following through, I lose credibility. I lose power, and people who depend on me suffer. So I'm supposed to sacrifice my freedom for your political position. I'm supposed to sacrifice my integrity to yours. Khalid met her eyes. You came to my land, photographed what you should not have, and created a problem that affects thousands of people. Yes, my solution is extreme, but so is your situation. Maya spent her second week in the settlement actually observing instead of just resenting. She watched Khalid settle disputes with wisdom, invest in education for children, negotiate with outside business interests to protect his people's resources while still generating income. He was not a tyrant. He was a leader carrying an enormous burden. She also learned about his past. Amira, warming to Maya over time, shared the story. Khalid had been educated in London, had lived in the modern world, but returned when his father died to assume leadership. He'd given up a different life to honor duty. He has refused all marriage proposals for years. Amira confided. The council pressures him constantly. They say a sheikh needs a wife to be complete, to provide heirs. But Khalid says he will only marry for love, not obligation. Then why claim me? Maya asked. Amira smiled knowingly. Perhaps you should ask him. That evening Maya found Khalid by the oasis. I want to understand. You could have claimed any woman as your intended to satisfy the council. Why me? Khalid was quiet for a long moment. Because you see beauty where others see only emptiness. Because you risk everything to capture a moment of light. Because when I looked at your photographs, I saw my homeland through your eyes, and it was transcendent. He turned to face her. And because when I met you, angry and defiant and absolutely terrified, you didn't beg or cry. You demanded answers. You had fire. So you kidnapped me, because you liked my attitude. I claimed you because in that moment I realized I could, and perhaps I wanted to see what would happen if I did something for myself, just once, instead of only for duty. Maya was stunned by his honesty. That's possibly the most arrogant thing I've ever heard. Yes, Khalid agreed. It is. I won't apologize for bringing you here. The circumstances required it. But I will apologize for not giving you a choice in what happens next. What do you mean? Marry me. Truly, not as a political arrangement, but as partners. I can offer you everything: freedom to photograph my lands, access to places no outsider has seen, protection and resources to build a career that matters. In exchange, you help me bridge the gap between my world and yours. You teach me to see what you see, and we discover if what I felt when I first saw your work, that sense of recognition, was destiny or delusion. You're proposing marriage, actual marriage. I'm proposing we find out if we can build something real from this impossible beginning. Maya was given time to consider, but time didn't make the decision easier. Every logical part of her brain screamed that this was Stockholm Syndrome, that she should refuse and find a way to escape. But her heart whispered something different. She'd spent 3 weeks observing Khalid. He was complicated, capable of the arrogance that led to her kidnapping, but also capable of tremendous compassion. He carried the weight of his people's survival on his shoulders, and did it with grace. And when he looked at her work, he understood it in a way even her closest friends never had. More troubling, she was falling for him. It was absurd, impossible, yet undeniable. I'll marry you, Maya finally said, but I have conditions. Khalid raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. First, I want the truth about why you really chose me, not the romantic version, the real reason. Khalid met her eyes. Because I saw your photographs and felt something I haven't felt in 10 years. Wonder, hope, a reminder that the world is bigger than my responsibilities. And when I discovered you were being threatened by the council, I saw an opportunity to claim something for myself while protecting you. Selfish and selfless at once. Second condition: I maintain my independence. I'm not giving up photography or my identity. Agreed. Third, you teach me to truly understand your world, not as an outsider, but as someone who belongs. And I teach you to see mine. I would want nothing less. And finally, if this doesn't work, if we try and fail to build something real, you let me go. No politics, no excuses. You let me walk away. Khalid nodded slowly. Agreed. Though I don't intend to fail. The wedding was a blend of both their world's traditional Arabic ceremony, with Maya in a stunning gown that mixed Western and Middle Eastern design. She spoke vows in halting Arabic that she'd spent 2 weeks learning. Khalid spoke his in English, for her benefit. And when he looked at her, Maya saw something that made her breath catch: genuine love, mixed with wonder that she'd actually said yes. 1 year later, Maya stood in a gallery in Dubai, surrounded by her newest exhibition, The Hidden Kingdom. Photographs from protected lands. The images were breathtaking. Intimate portraits of Khalid's settlement, landscapes that seemed to exist outside of time, moments of beauty that would have been lost to the world without her access. The exhibition had drawn international acclaim, but more importantly, it had been created with Khalid's people's consent, sharing their world on their terms. A portion of all proceeds went to their educational programs. Khalid stood beside her, proud and slightly uncomfortable in Western formal wear. You've done something remarkable, he murmured. You've shown the world our beauty without exploiting it. We did it together, Maya corrected. This only works because you trusted me. They'd spent the year building their life, Maya photographing and teaching photography to young girls in the settlement, Khalid modernizing infrastructure while protecting traditions. Their marriage had evolved from arrangement to partnership to genuine love. It hadn't been easy. Maya still struggled with the knowledge that she'd been kidnapped into this life. Khalid still wrestled with the arrogance that had led him to claim her. But they'd chosen each other day after day, and that choice had transformed everything. Do you ever regret it? Khalid asked as they walked through the gallery, saying yes. Maya thought about the woman she'd been a year ago, traveling alone, capturing beautiful images, but always moving on, never belonging anywhere. Then she thought about the woman she was now, still photographing beauty, but also creating it, building it, living it. I regret that it started with you drugging and kidnapping me. Yes, that was traumatic and wrong, and we both know it. But I don't regret where we ended up. I don't regret the life we're building or the person I'm becoming. I just wish the beginning had been different. Khalid pulled her close. If I could go back, I would do things differently. I would find a way to meet you properly, to court you like you deserved. But I cannot change the past. I can only promise you the future. That's all any of us can promise. 2 years later they had a daughter, a little girl with Khalid's dark eyes and Maya's determination. They named her No, meaning light, because she was born from the collision of two worlds that had found a way to illuminate each other. Maya still traveled for her photography, but she always came home to the desert, to the settlement that had become hers, to the man who'd stolen her freedom, but given her everything else. And sometimes, late at night, she'd look at that first viral photo, the one that had changed everything, and wonder at the strange path that had led her here. How a single moment, a single image, a single click could redirect an entire life. Destiny or coincidence? Khalid would ask, seeing where her thoughts had gone. Both Maya would answer. And choice, always choice, in the end. Have you ever had something unexpected completely redirect your life? A viral moment, a chance encounter, a decision that seemed small but changed everything. Maya's story is extreme, and the kidnapping should never be romanticized or excused, but it speaks to something we all experience, the moment when life takes a sharp turn, and we have to decide whether to fight it or flow with it. Sometimes, the most beautiful destinations require the most difficult journeys. What's your story of unexpected redirection? Share it below, because we all have that moment when everything changed.